I'm not really working with a plan. I'm just sort of working intuitively. And this is so not only so much fun, but I'm really learning a lot about design this way, almost by accident. So the only problem with the candle is that you can't see where you've been. Uh, so, and the whole thing is that this is never, was never intended to be totally regular anyway. I suppose that if I had really planned well, I could have put just a tiny little pencil dot everywhere that I was starting one of these. You know, that would have been really smart. But who wants to be that, huh? I tell you what, let's stop right there. Let's take that green pencil, and from here on out, I have a tiny little dot everywhere I start one of these. I don't know, I'm just trying to get them kind of evenly spaced, but I'm not really doing a predictable pattern here. That's putting it mildly. Let's see. You know, I might have one overlaps the vase. There. Okay. We'll do that. Oops, off the page and back. Here we go. Here we go. And by the time some color's put in here, you'll never even see that, will you? That little green spot. I'll let this one run in behind that. This is supposed to be glass. Here's another one starting right there. And this is fanciful. This is just have a little fun. There. Okay. So maybe I've got it dry, of course, because I couldn't have worked with a candle if I hadn't. So let's see, we still need a shape back here. Well, I'm going to go ahead and do what my original picture has in it. And this is totally copied from Shirley Trevena, but that's how you learn. You know, maybe I shouldn't have put anything up there. I shouldn't have. I should have just left it down in this area. Oh, darn. Oh, well. And I'll just make a shape here. I don't know what this is. Maybe I'll make this side straight. Again, I have no plan. Okay. Let's do that first. So the thing is, I want to emphasize to you that this is not as much about color as it is about value and shapes. So some people got kind of excited about color in my pilot class. I don't call them guinea pigs anymore. So it's just not dignified. So in my pilot class, some people got a little excited and tried to just make blocks of color or just color everywhere. And that's not what it's really about. You've got to have some shapes. They don't have to be meaningful shapes, but they have to break things up in some way or another. I saw a piece the other day that has some shapes in the background. You'll no doubt see it one of these days that Brenda Driggers did. And she tested it out different ways, and she did the piece that is best is just a very simple geometric pattern in the background that is just perfect. So, okay, let's Well, let's see. I've got some color down here. I've got some... Oh, dear. What is that? Oh, I think I want some blue. Never mind. I'm going to get some ultramarine. I'm going to add it to some... Not ultramarine. Indigo. And I'm going to add it to some color that I already have that is... Well, it's just a color sort of dead purple. So I'm going to make some more blue here. In fact, maybe I will try some ultramarine. By the way, I have a brush here that does not have a point on it. Well, it sort of does. It's like that. It's a nice little fat brush that I got from Cheap Joe's years ago. I don't even know if they still carry them. But the thing about it is that I like a brush with a really good point. But at some parts of my paintings, I get shapes that suit me better when I don't have a good point. That is, it's just fat and just, you know, kind of blobs off there at the end. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Oh, there's that swirl. Gee, I wish I'd left it out of the top. So I'm going to paint it into this background area that is eventually going to go darker. But I'll go ahead and paint over that. Okay. And then I'm going to also... Well, that's pretty blue. So let's add a little. I'm going to get a little Queen Burnt Scarlet. You know, you could, if you have burnt sienna, you could use that because we're not trying to be real loud with this. Let's just drop a little in here and there. But we want to do it in a way so that it gets a chance to blend in. Okay, there we go. Now, the way I got this texture in here was I blotted. I think because I have these swirly thingies in here that I don't want to blot this time. And I might actually want a pointier brush for this part. Oops, went over my leaf. Now the funny thing is, if this is a glass bowl, you should see through it. And Trevina quite often leaves these pretty near flat, but she nearly always has something going on in them where the leaves are, where the stems are. So she would make it more interesting than this. I might just do this thing. Take a little bit of color along that edge and on down, and then let's soften it out like this. The thing is that we're not terribly concerned with making sense. We want to make beautiful. Beautiful does not necessarily mean making sense. Oh, I did not put a little thingy in here. Where's my candle? Ah. Oops. Wrong end of the candle. There. I'm going to try to show as much as I think I need to in this video really fast. So I'm going to turn the video off and fill all this in. Well, this is such a delightful little dance going on here. I like it so much that I'm thinking maybe I won't put that dark in there because that'll make these stand out too much. I missed a spot here. You know, if it'd been over here, I could have just put a little dark bottle right there on the table. I think I'm going to make a shape over here that is some unknown. Well, right there. And I'll make a dark there. And then we'll have to darken this edge here. I guess I'll stick with my green. There, maybe that much. Well, let's see. So we need a shape over here. It can come right off the side of this table. Sort of a tangential shape. And then, I don't know what it is. There. It could be anything. I know. Let's put another one right over here. Do we know what they are? Do we ever need to even care? No, we don't. So let's see now. I need a darker mixture, something really, well, when I need dark, there's always phthalo green and rose, or alizarin works. A rose is a little more purpley bright than the alizarin. I think I'll use alizarin this time because I don't use my alizarin much, and so I won't be using up my purple. Well, if that's a little too colorful, let's just put a bit of a yellow in it to neutralize it, and it'll be more, it'll be a little more dead. And if I want a dark yellow, then I'm going to use either Queen Gold or Nickel Azo. And I don't want much. Oh dear, well that might be a green. Let's see what we got here. Why not? Dark green panels of something. Okay, I'm going to paint these in, and then I'll be back. Well, I've painted myself into a corner. As you can see, these little darks are not going to work by themselves in here. So that means that I'm going to make my leaves pretty dark. I'll use almost the same mix. Let's have a little Queen Gold out here handy. And let's just start. There's the Queen Gold. But I'm going to just start these leaves off as one shape, and then I may or may not separate them later. I don't know. Trevina's pretty good about pre-planning her color, which I did not do for this. So this is going very olive. I don't think that I like the Queen Gold there. See if we get rid of a little of it. And I do believe that this is how Trevina developed one of her most important techniques, blotting while the paint is wet. I suspect she did it when she first started painting and was trying to fix things and said, oh, hey, that looks better like that. Because I've sort of done the same thing at times. It's just a natural extension of painting, I think. So here's that leaf. It gets really thin here where it twists. So I've got a deep green. Well, I've still got some some really deep color in it. Let's let it kind of fade down here. We don't want to over express it, whatever that meant. So then we've got the tips of the leaves up here, and I think I'm going to want to get those dark. Let's do them right here. And then while they're wet, we'll add some of that really dark mixture that I can't really tell you what was in it. It's a state secret. No, I just don't. At this point, it's just everything but the kitchen sink. Let's get this really dark right here. Get a really dark area right on top of this mid-tone so that this stands out a little bit. There, and that one's a little bit light. Let's leave it like that. And I like what's happening down here. And maybe we could do a blot. Nah, I'm not getting really, there's not much room for much texture in here. But we do have some because of the pencil. Whoa, see, I didn't intend to do this. But why not do it? There. Okay, cool. Yeah. So Trevina almost blots as just an afterthought to almost everything she does. Well, I wouldn't say almost everything, but very frequently. Let's put it that way. So we've got these green parts. Let's go ahead and paint those in. And the green that I'm working with here, I don't know. I think it's mostly phthalo green and some nickel azo. Nickel azo is really strong stuff. And you can do some wonderful things with it. It has sort of a cantankerous personality, though, I have to tell you. So, let's see. Maybe we'll let this one stay a little bit lighter. I don't want them all to come down there, you know, like you expect them to. So now we've got this area, and I thought I would make that really dark. Maybe I ought to put the light green in first and then add the dark on top of it. See, there's one running off the page. Oh, I didn't give myself much room for something. You know what? We need another one right there. And so let's pull up this dark now, and let's get these dark. Because we need, not because they should be dark, or because in reality they would be dark. Actually, they would probably be spring green colored. But because we need to pull some darks up this way. And that's more important than reality. Okay. I think I want to make this little part here a little bigger. Oh, I just did it with the dark too, didn't I? We had to do it with the dark. Okay, so I've got some nice textured edges there. Either that or these are related to cactus. I don't know which, because there's little fuzzy thingies there. Okay, so I'm liking this. I got to dry it. And I'm going to paint in a little bit more and show you the ending because we're running out of time. Well, here's the thing about these. Do a lot of them. Do a lot of, just take a vase and put some flowers in it. Set it right in the dead center, which is, you know, not the right thing. Set it in the dead center, or play with putting it off to one side with something else on the table. But play with these backgrounds and with moving your darks and your lights around. We've got some good lights in here. You notice I did almost no shading on the flowers. It's just very, very weak. The reason is that they have a lot more impact if they're flat. Again, and I want the white to stand out up here. If I start shading it a bunch, it's just not going to do what, it's not going to compete with the rest of this. All right, so you can see that I put in an extra thing here, and I also lightened these a little bit because they were just too strong for what was going on up here. Then I considered, this is kind of bent, but then I considered, here, let's go, whoops, this way. Well, I don't guess it makes any difference. So I considered maybe trimming it up. That's why I put this extra little bump here, because it needed it. So maybe right there, so that this runs to the edge and that runs to the edge, and we crop it like this. And then I'm pretty pleased with it, except that I would not have put these swirls up here. So this is where you can have fun really fast. See, is that still on the page? Yeah. This is where you can have fun really fast and try out some different experiments. And overall, I'm pleased with what I wound up with. So that's the lesson for the week. I've sent no handout because I expect most of you will draw this. I will have copies of this in the classroom for people to look at, but also in case someone wants to trace this. But that's pretty much it for the week. Bye all.